Son of a bitch. I can't believe that there's actually a video.
There's an episode 2 to this dead podcast, and there's a completed, pretty substantial video.
Yeah, that's that like hit the 16-minute mark, I think.
Yeah,
that's
like
pretty good. I didn't think here's my biggest problem that I kept having. I guess what we should do is say, hey, welcome to the second episode of Not Another Podcast, titled "The Day Short" or "A Day Late and $1 Short."
Yeah.
Because that's where we are and that's who we're going to be for a little while. We appreciate everybody joining up, and we hope that you guys enjoyed the video. And if you didn't, hey, be nice and let us know anything, any sort of, comments you want to make. I think Max did a fantastic job with the small amount of footage I was able to give him. Yeah. I appreciate all that. What's it say there? Row subscribed? Something about getting a better mic.
Girly Man.
Yeah.
Subscribed for 8 months.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I do think I'm actually considering buying a new mic. I'm considering one of these fucking things you've got going on because I like the sound of these mics. I have I use an AT2020 at home, and
you use the USB version, right?
Yeah.
Well,
and for a while it's always served me well because I've never been like super adamant about the idea of like, oh, I'm never gonna make videos, and then now I'm gonna do that.
Well, the thing is, I have a spare AT2020, like the XLR version. So if you were to buy the actual XLR setup, I could just give you that mic.
Well, shit.
I don't use it.
There it is.
There it is. Yeah, there's obviously some things, editing side, and writing side we need to work on. But I think for our first video, that was pretty good. I think what you think is talking too fast is just what I noticed is there's like a lot of run-on sentences.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Definitely, because I try to share my thoughts in like one full and concise. I would say concise blast, but it's actually just like a fucking full-on thought that I have, and that's just something I personally have to get over. I noticed for me personally, I think you even have the raw audio file where I'm like having to stop to take a breath. The
trailer for this podcast and Monster Hunter reveal video was originally just going to be like, well, then it did. Fuck.
Oh,
just fuck my dick. Like every single time you did one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, the volume drop up at the end was my fault. I'm starting to realize because it was the other thing that I have an absolute like miserable fucking thing to deal with in terms of like a genuine recording situation. I don't have like any sort of studio setup. I used to have a mic stand that I ripped apart to shreds after a League of Legends game, and at that point I'd figured that's probably a good time as ever to stop playing that fucking game.
Yeah, that's
because if it's causing guttural reactions like that, it's probably not good or conducive to me as a person. So the entire Max has seen it. I'm not sure if I've ever shown I think I've done like when during the hurricane last year.
We showed
the ghetto setup,
like a Twitter video. It's like we're playing Paladins before we die. This is gonna be the last game we play.
I can't believe Paladins I can't believe we played Paladins for so fucking long.
Here's the thing I can't believe. I can't believe we were playing Paladins. The power went out. The power came back on, and then we turned Paladins back on. We didn't all right, we got a second chance. Let's play something of real value. No, we put Paladins back on.
We put Paladins right the fuck back on and said, let's keep going. There was obviously a point where we needed to stop, but let's keep going and see what happens.
We got that character pass. It's done. It's over.
Well, because we fucking unlocked like the one cool character.
The cool chick with the rifle.
Yeah, the rifle.
The crystal rifle with the command dodges and shit. Yeah,
that fucking she's definite waifu status.
That's
man.
Definitely the Not Another Podcast mascot character, whatever her fucking name is from Paladins.
She's my Xenon. Okay?
Redhead Paladin.
Leave her alone. She's my Xenon. That's
my Xenon isn't even my Xenon.
No, you don't even. Which waifu overrides the other? Asuna or Xenon?
Oh, if we're talking just sword art, then yeah, I guess it's Xenon. But she's also at the bottom still. I know I have a shelf, but like that's not enough to.
Yeah. Oh man, that's. We gotta talk about that. But first, so. As some of you may have noticed, we have the whole bi-weekly podcast thing has kind of went out the window just for this month. Max, we kind of kept tight-lipped on this when we were just sitting here. I need you to explain to me the shit show that is this fucking project you've been working on.
Oh, okay.
That is the main reason why the video took so fucking long. And is also because here on my end, here's what happened. I dragged my feet super fucking hard on writing it because I was afraid of what exactly we were supposed to be doing. Originally, the series was going to be called Hot Take, and there's still going to be a series like that, and I'll explain why that is in a second. But it was supposed to be like kind of like I was writing it in a sense of going after the dissenters. The amount of people that I kept seeing are like, oh, the beta sucks or this game sucks, and then it just ended up being a fucking piece of gush, like a giant fucking like almost review-like thing. And I was just sitting there like, well, I mean, I don't want it to go to waste, but it's not like as antagonistic as I was originally writing it.
And you can definitely see the shift from like the first couple of paragraphs where it's like, yeah, dust off your Cheeto fingers.
Yeah.
Gaffers. Rest in peace.
Rip in peace.
What are they? Recitiates now?
Recitiates. You can keep pressing the reset button, but you're still gonna be the same fucker. You're still gonna be the same worthless piece of... All right, you know what? Actually, I've got to say real quick as a quick aside, I don't know if you've been following anything on Reset Era. They have been doing a far better job at kind of like just having more of a genuine opinion, and I think that comes from the fact that entire moderator team has either been gutted or the people that stayed are not going after people for having opinions anymore that are like even remotely on one side of the fence. For those of you who don't know, NeoGAF was like a giant proto-liberal playground that was miserable to talk about and was like the kickstart for so many terrible fucking witch hunt movements that all ended terribly.
Yep.
But
No, the most I've interacted with any sort of the GAF thing is I think I'm still subscribed to that Twitter bot that posts GAF threads, and it's always like, where'd everybody go? And it's like, hey guys, want to join my Monster Hunter squad?
I'll tell you what, that was the one thing keeping me alive during TwitchCon. When I was alone at fucking TwitchCon on the Saturday, and I was sitting there just surrounded by a bunch of like IRL streamers trying to get themselves hit by cars and all general mishap of Twitch streamer, and I like the mounting insecurity and all of the just pure mediocrity coming up together. Me watching NeoGAF burn to the ground.
That's
on
right.
A
it
shitty
did happen
cellular...
that weekend.
Yeah, it happened that weekend. Me watching it burn to the ground on a shitty cellular signal was like easily the highlight of my life. And I guess I should kind of back off on the shade for a second. NeoGAF, as we've always said, was an amazing resource. It was absolutely like the one place that we knew we got news. But man, if you had an opinion that even slightly was against those people, don't even attempt. Like I never made an account. I know you never made an account.
Because you need like they're like, yeah, use like a school email or a work email.
Something like, we can track you on.
It's like, no, NeoGAF, what? Because they want like you to be like a gaming like insider or like someone in the industry, whether it's journalism. That's ideally what they'd want. But that's not what happens. It's any schmuck that has like an .edu or not .gov, but .org. Just anyone like that making accounts.
Anyone who even has some semblance.
I hate Bayonetta's hips.
Let's make a 12-page thread about it. I'm pretty sure I saw like for the second time in like the span of 2 years another thread talking about the females in Final Fantasy 15, and I feel like that was a dead topic. Like, we get it, they fucked up. Like, that's not even with. But once again, we could go for hours. We could have an entire cast.
Welcome to not another gaff.
Not another gaff cast. Oh Jesus, it's dead, and the thing still hurts. It still hurts me. What is he saying?
I can feel it too.
I can feel it too. Can you feel it too? Oh man, but other than that, I'd say.
Oh, okay. So you were talking about so you were writing and it wasn't what you originally wanted to be. Kind of turned into something else.
Yeah.
You send me the scripts.
And I did the audio, and I gotta commend Max. Like I really gotta. He pulled out some crazy shit. All that Monster Hunter Tri footage was completely like he just found. Was it your Wii? You loaded up your Wii.
Yeah. So I had Monster Hunter Tri. There are 80,000 gecko codes for Monster Hunter Try, and 3 codes that unlock all equipment, unlock all like items, and increase your inventory space. And those are the only 3 I did, and I had to search through 80,000 codes.
Jesus.
I started the game up. By the time I was done, I looked. I was like, "Oh shit! I got like 14 minutes of footage. This is really good." I go back through. It turns out like 8 minutes are spent just navigating the fucking item box, just trying to find the Rathalos armor, because that's what you're like referencing during that part.
Yeah.
And then what do I do with the Rathalos armor? I take it fucking underwater to fight sharks, and I get the great sword.
The fire great sword to fight this fucking shark. I hope to God that they stay away from the fucking like underwater fights, because the Gyarados is already kind of shitty to deal with when you're like waist deep water.
I think that's the last monster I've actually gotten to, was that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And it was all right. I had enough people though, but I imagine doing that fight without a full party would suck.
It was fine. We'll talk about that in a second.
We'll talk about it.
But I did the audio on the first pass, and the audio was done because the whole idea was that, oh shit, the fucking game comes out on Friday.
Yeah.
We need to get this done immediately. I've been dragging my feet super hard on this video. Let me finish it all in one weekend, one fell swoop. Let me get it. Let me just say, fuck it. This is the script. Go for it. I'm actually happy with how the script turned out. There's still some things I would like to change. I know that for the layman, there's going to be one thing that they're going to fucking hate, and that's me comparing it to Destiny 2. I only say that because for me, Monster Hunter is like the purest form of an action RPG.
Yeah.
Just not like in a like it's all horizontal progression as opposed to linear progression. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the differences.
Yeah.
Yeah, where like in it's just very good at that horizontal progression arc, and whereas Destiny 2 is the complete opposite. So like. But for me, like when I was writing it, I was like, I feel like this can get Destiny numbers, and it fucking did. In 3 days, they shipped 5 million fucking copies worldwide.
It's pretty crazy.
Best reviewed Monster Hunter game, best selling Monster Hunter game, insane amount of hype around this game. Still in the top 10 Twitch.
Theoretically, all thanks to us.
All could have all been thanks to us, except something happened that little Maxi Poo got put into a situation where he was explaining it to me. Holy shit, that's a legal problem.
It's become a legal problem.
Oh my god.
So for those who don't know, I currently go to film school, which is like it's fake school. We just this past month we've been working on a shoot for a sci-fi drama that's kind of set in like a Blade Runner style universe. 2 days on, or 3 days building the set, 2 days on set, and then starting Friday of not last week but the week before, the weekend you started doing the script, was my time to start editing, and I started working on it. And just over the course of last week, it was me working like 6 hours on that, 6 hours on yours, 6 hours on that short film again, and then sleeping for 6 hours. And that was my life for like a week. And every time I thought I was getting closer and closer to getting done, something would go wrong. It's like, oh shit, every time someone moves in this fucking film, it's called a lavalier. It's the mic you clip to their shirt. It goes fucking nuts, and it picks up every sound in the known universe. So that's 3 hours going back through and fading in every clip in the beginning, every clip on the way out, cutting in background noise. It's like, oh, now the AC, I can hear it very clearly, so I got to go back in, take care of the AC. I go through and I color correct the whole thing. Turns out I wasn't supposed to do that, so I get rid of my color correction. The director of photography comes over. He does the color correction sitting here. We're here till 4 in the morning. If anyone was watching the stream where I was editing Monster Hunter, that's why I had to stop that stream, is because I had to meet with the DP. He had to come over, and we had to color correct this whole fucking film. So come last night, we're finally finalizing it. We're putting the music in. We're feeling as good as we can, me and the director. And I complained a whole lot about like everyone the past week, to you specifically.
Yeah.
But I would say every issue we've had on this entire shoot is directly tied to our producer, who is also, I guess, the teacher of the class. So we're finally finalizing it. We render it. That takes like an hour. I upload it. Takes like another hour. It's up on the page, and within 5 minutes, I get a message from the producer. It's like, you need to take this down because you're supposed to like come in and meet with me, and we're supposed to like talk, and you're supposed to give me all the Premiere files and stuff. And the due date was like 5 minutes away. It was like 11:55 p.m. And I'm like, all right, so this shit's late now. I go back through, I check the entire website. Not once does it say that shit anywhere. I go in today to give him all the files. My car is currently not working. I don't even know if I mentioned that in the text.
No,
my car is dead. So I got to ride with somebody to class today. I have my little hard drive. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to just turn this in, be fucking done with it. Plugged into my computer, open it up, check. There's no sound files on this fucking hard drive. I walk all the way back here. I get the sound files. I walk all the way fucking back. Give him the hard drive. I'm in there for like another 2 hours because I have to re-render it because he wanted to put a little Full Sail logo at the beginning for 5 seconds, which means another hour of rendering. Copy it to the laptop. Laptop's full. Can't do that. Copy it directly to his hard drive. 45 minutes. He says, hey, it's been great working with you. I'm like, all right, bye, see ya. And I prance out of there as fast as my little feet will take me. And that's been my past week, and that is why Monster Hunter is coming out tomorrow on the YouTube channel, but you guys got to see it tonight, and I might play it at the end again. I don't know. But that's been my past week. So if you want to work in the film industry, here's my advice. Don't or at least don't work
don't do that.
Don't work in a position where they're going to call you back to do stuff. Like paint a wall and then go home.
I mean, well, first and foremost, when it comes to things like Full Sail as a whole, I think that was my biggest problem with Full Sail was that it's full of just so many dumb idiots. Like there are just people left and right that have nary the faintest fucking clue as to how anything's working. And the worst part is some of those idiots are teaching you.
Most of them are, in fact.
Yeah, and I feel like I've heard nothing but terrible things about the film program. There's one program in general that I've heard glowing remarks, and that's ShowPro. ShowPro is apparently the go-to. Get a job, go in there, get training, get a job within a month after you fucking graduate. Because ShowPro over here, like, obviously we live in the Orlando area. There's jobs everywhere for people who are into show production. Like if you're in, and that show production, I think for Full Sail kind of encompasses things like what Max does here, where he works with the audio, things he does with OFN, where he sets up the stream, sets up all that stuff. That's inherently what show production is. And like it's just that done on a bigger scale. And right now I can tell you, like at fucking iDrive, the crazy margaritas, I'm sure you've seen it. It's the Mexican restaurant that doubles as a fucking nightclub. That's crazy and is like our version of the Japanese robot dance. Like,
is it near that place that has it looks like it'd be a mini golf course?
Yeah,
but it's clearly not.
It's clearly not.
It looks like an outdoor, like it's like a pirate theater. Like I don't know what you fucking call it.
We're gonna have to fucking one of these cons coming back in. We're gonna have to start just going down iDrive drunk and figure out what situation we're gonna get ourselves in the rest of that night.
Yeah, I've been here for like almost 2 years. I haven't gone to a single Orlando con besides like CEO.
Really?
I really got to get down
to
like
we got to go to
MegaCon.
MegaCon, Jeff Goldblum is showing up, so you know I'm going to have to fucking
Jeff Goldblum will be on an episode of Not Another Podcast. I'm saying it right now.
We'll find out.
We get the guests that other Twitch streamers are too afraid to even ask for.
Ooh, get them. Jesus Christ. But then, like, okay, so the one thing that you were explaining to me, I'm not sure if you wanted to explain that. Apparently, the whole class is getting some kind of, like, is getting a 60 on the project.
So, our assistant director is in charge at the very end, besides all the other jobs that come along with assistant director, which is mostly managing the crew so the director doesn't have to worry about it. They have to compile what's called a wrap book, which is essentially a binder, or in this case, a file, a digital file of all of our paperwork, all of our budgeting, all of our expenses, timesheets, release forms, everything. And for whatever reason, even though that's strictly an AD job, and I guess it kind of falls under everybody because some of that paperwork is each person's, everyone's grade is what the AD gets, and the AD got a 60. So now there are multiple people in our class who are in danger of failing because this assignment now has a big 68 on their fucking card, and it's worth 20% of their grade for the month. And at Full Sail, there aren't real semesters. It's basically per month. So at the end of the month, you get your grade, and that's it. If you fail, you do that month again. You pay again.
That's what is the key here.
Yeah. I don't think you have to pay again unless you fail due to attendance, but you definitely have to take the class again, which is you're still paying another month of rent. You're paying like because we're in fucking apartments.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah. That to me is like easily one of the largest like red flags of just there is obviously something very wrong with like, hey, you know, we're getting you ready for the film industry. Those one person can fuck everything up. It's like, yes,
true,
but individually, I'm paying you above $50,000.
Yeah,
and that should denote to me or to you that under no circumstance are you to make my grade incumbent upon the person who's got one job.
Yeah, and it really comes down. I'm going to keep blaming our producer, who obviously I will not say by name, and there is no way anyone will ever find out. But
obviously.
There are multiple cases where people got lesser grades, and we can guarantee it's because of like personal vendettas, where it's like, yeah, the person or like one of our crew members was kind of being an asshole, like to our producer, which you're not supposed to do. But when it came to doing their job, they fucking did it, and they didn't mess around.
Yeah.
They were just kind of like a sour apple, like just a big old Debbie Downer. But they are one of the people who are in danger of failing because their production grade was not as good because, I don't know, professionalism? I don't know what you'd even call it, but I don't know. It's very clear that some of the grading is a little weird, and we are prepared to march in as a group to
tell them the fuck
defend
off,
people who need to be defended.
Yeah.
And then there are some people who are failing, and we're like, it's about time.
Yeah, it's about time, cut them.
But
like, that's just to me, it's such a, and that was like easily one of the biggest like problems I had personally was a lot of your work wasn't about getting the job done. It was about whether or not the teacher felt you had completed the task he assigned you.
Yeah.
It wasn't about like
the arbitrary like school part.
Yeah.
Where it's like my job was to edit a movie. I uploaded a movie, but I am now going to get points taken off for being late because I didn't walk in and hand it to him on like a hard drive.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's
like fuck off.
There's a difference between like, hey, your editing here is bad. Your editing here is bad. This is what you didn't account for. That's the things I'm okay with, like them saying, okay, now we have to take a moment to sit down and understand what this fucking thing is.
No, they don't grade you on that.
No.
They grade you on did you check off every box on this rubric?
Exactly.
And if you did, you get 100.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how shitty it looks. Doesn't matter. I cannot wait. We're doing a big group viewing party at a friend of mine's house. I can't wait to see those other films because I know those other crews.
You're gonna need to pick up that Maker's 46. On the way over there, little Mac's gonna need to get a little tipsy.
Oh, dude!
And then just start shit talking every
I've
motherfucker.
I've got the Macallan over there that I've been saving.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I think after this week, honestly, I'm ready to just drink and do nothing but play Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I'm ready to start playing Monster Hunter.
I'm glad that you're ready to start
Speaking
playing Monster Hunter.
of video games,
yeah,
on this video game podcast.
On this video, whatever this is.
Now that downer time is over until I talk about BlazBlue, let's talk about Monster Hunter.
Hey, so downer time is not entirely over. There is one before I get into the sheer like amount of, because let me preface this by saying I have not been able to stop thinking about Monster Hunter since I've fucking played it. On Sunday night, I turned around and I pressed the save button, and as I'm loading my character up just to check, I'm like, oh, because you have an hour timer on there. Obviously, they have a play timer.
Yeah.
Within that weekend, I spent 41 fucking hours doing nothing but playing that game.
That's pretty crazy.
So that means that almost 2 entire days of the weekend were just strictly. I took Friday off. I even went to sleep. I slept in until like 2 or 3. I woke up and all I did was play fucking Monster Hunter the whole time. I had errands to do. I had bills to pay, and I told them all to fuck off. And I played the shit out of this game, and I walked away Monday morning with all of my friends who we were going through it. We were having a good time. And we just all turned around and said, this is bullshit.
This is dumb.
This work shit is bullshit. We want to go home and play Monster Hunter again. So I am obviously, after the heated fucking problem I had, I want to say Friday night, trying to figure out how to get any of that shit to work. So there's one concession that if I was to make like an actual genuine big review on Monster Hunter that I would like to bring up, it's the fact that no, playing online with someone's not hard so much as it is ridiculously convoluted.
Yeah, that so far from what I played, that is probably the only problem I have is like the amount of effort it takes to form a squad, maintain a squad, add members to said squad, and then play with that squad.
Yeah,
there are way too many steps when it really should just be like PlayStation menu, invite.
Yeah.
He's in there now. Like
a part of me kind of likes. Okay, so the way I explain it to people is, hey, here's how it's going to work. I can invite 16 or 15 other people in this one room, and all of us can be doing something entirely different. As long as our internet connections stay afloat, all of us can just be like, hey, we're going to go run this party. Oh, you don't have room? Let's go see if some of the other friends over here have this. And it was getting to that point because we had like 8 people parties, chat parties. We were sitting there like, oh, you don't have room? Hey, I need help on this quest. Let's catch you up.
Sorry, go ahead.
What really put a fucking dampener was the 2007 game design decision of the year, wherein they turned around and they've had not one, not 2, but 3 cooperative-based games in which this has never been an issue, have decided in the year of 2018 to not only force every single person to get and watch through unskippable cutscenes, but to make it so that you cannot play with people unless they watch the cutscene, which is normally just the monster showing up and going rah for half a second for the title card to hit, and then when that happens, you and your friends can jump into the match. So it turns into, hey, I'm doing it, and you're sitting in the fucking area. If you want to play with your friends the whole way through, you're sitting in there for what could be 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Especially on that fucking escort mission. I was able to do, like, there is one mission that Max was talking about. In order to discover the Wild Spire Waste, which is essentially the second fucking area, you have to go on a mandatory walking escort mission that ends in you watching a cutscene to fight a Barith. That took my friend 8.5 fucking minutes.
Yeah,
we were
that
sitting
mission's
there,
abysmal.
Yeah, we were sitting there for 8 to 10 minutes doing fuck all because we were just like, what? I mean, we can't finish a hunt in that time. We're not powerful enough at this point in the progression.
And here's the problem: is that it would be a bit more excusable if the story wasn't so nothing.
Nothing. Like
it's not that it's bad. It's that it is nothing.
It's a bunch of voice acting, a bunch of motion capture to turn around and just say, hey, the handler is Elder Dragons.
There was a point where like someone who looked super important came on my screen, and I was in a call with Austin as I was recording footage, and I was like, hey Austin, who is this guy? Is he like an important character? And Austin was like, Max, there are no important characters. I was like, what do you mean? Look at this guy. He's like a cover box art character. I took a screen cap and I sent it to him. He's like, he may have been in 4. I don't know.
Which is insane to me because what people are saying, first of all, I went down a lore hole the other day.
Really?
Yeah, I went down a lore hole. I found out what a fucking equal dragon weapon is. Do you know what that fucking is?
An equal dragon weapon?
Do you know what a fucking equal
dope.
Dragon weapon is? There was a first civilization, I want to say they call it the first Wyverns or whatever they were called, and that civilization was fighting all these crazy fucking dragons.
Okay.
And in order to do that, what they did was use the tech that was so advanced to create a dragon bioweapon known as the Equal Living Dragon that used the dead body parts of 30 large dragons and put it in one giant fucking container, and it got more powerful with every life it took.
Why the fuck isn't the game about that?
I don't know.
That's so sick.
It's the fucking coolest. It's the fucking, but they sit there and say, well, you found it in Monster Hunter 4, like a dead body of one. That's
so
it.
the Equal dead dragon.
Yeah, and then there's another dragon known as Fatalis, who basically like, if I'm paraphrasing here, he does the opposite of. He looks at all of his fucking dragon brethren getting just slain and having to fight people who are wearing his family's parts.
Yeah.
So the motherfucker does the opposite. And every hunter he kills, he melds to him. So he's using hunters as armor. And then if you kill Fatalis in like Monster Hunter, like it's actually like all the way back in fucking Freedom.
Oh, wow.
It says that the fucking armor is trying to possess you. The spirit, you get actual berserker armor. But that's not what the fucking story is about.
Okay.
The story is basically Lost Planet 2 again.
So here's the problem is people could say it's like, oh, well, Dark Souls does that, where it's all like in, item descriptions and shit. But Dark Souls isn't going to sit you down for an 8-minute fucking cutscene that essentially is like, look at that dude. He's by the campfire.
Exactly.
I'm going to sit at that campfire. Oh, here comes a hunter. Remember this guy? It's like, no, it's Bloodborne 1. I don't know who that is. This is a new game.
Yeah, exactly. It is just demonstrably bad.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is,
and you can't skip the cuts. You can't skip the cutscenes in 2018. You can't skip a cutscene.
2018.
Dude, it'd be real. It'd be the real test. Shadow of the Colossus HD, the remake, just released like a couple of days ago. Which, by the way, surprise!
It's really good, and everybody likes it.
If you can skip the cutscenes in that game, that says a lot, because that is literally a PS2 game from like 2000 whatever.
Yeah, but like Blue Point Games are like wizards, man.
Yeah,
with Blue Point Games, like
they get it.
I would want to see. I don't know if they have the capacity to, but if Blue Point Games is able to like make a game of their own, it would be the best running game of the entire console.
What else has Blue Point done?
Blue Point are the guys who do all the port jobs for a lot of the Sony games.
Oh, okay.
So they ported Titanfall to the 360 and got it running at 45 to 60 frames per second.
That's pretty strong.
That's insane.
That's a good looking game.
That's fucking magic. Like you can't do that on that hardware.
Yeah.
But they did it, and it's insane that they did that. But yeah, I'd have to play it. I want to actually sit down and play because I bought Shadow of the Colossus ages ago.
Yeah, I've never played Shadow of the Colossus, so I'm thinking about maybe picking it up.
Yeah,
maybe.
Absolutely. But Monster Hunter, with all that being said,
but see, those are the only negatives. And we talked about it for a while, but that's because it's all the only negatives you can talk about. Because everything else in the game is pretty dope.
It's pretty great.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun. And when you finally get to a point where like you can just what I've told everyone is that. Do yourself a favor, get to the second Zora Magdaros mission, unlock high rank, and just forget about it. Because at that point, high rank essentially doesn't become end game; it's mid game, and end game kind of slowly building up, and that's when like the cutscenes are not as frequent.
Yeah.
Expeditions definitely are, which that's another thing I didn't like is that some of the expeditions they force you on, people can't join you. But that's there's one in particular where you go to the final section of the final map that they have you unlock in high rank, and that one is literally, hey, walk around and find every single monster on this map,
find every single type of mushroom.
Guess what, they're all reskins. Blah! Like it's not, but I mean, just the way the gameplay feels, the way the combat it feels, every just the emergent gameplay moments, the dynamic gameplay moments that happen with just the inclusion of all the crazy shit going on. So I haven't been running into a whole bunch of the turf war mechanics that I talked about pretty heavily in the video, but there are some that are just so fucking memorable that it's insane. I wish I was streaming during this one. So I'm fighting an ice dragon over in the Coral Reef area called a Legiana.
Cannot wait till I get to that area.
That area is fucking dope.
Yeah.
The Rotten Vale, the one after it, terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
All right.
It's amazing. The areas in that game are fucking great. But fighting a fucking giant ice dragon with me and my friends, and it fucks off. right? And it goes out off a cliff face, and we see it come down. And as we're jumping down, we see the big bat, the Palumu in the fucking commercial you saw show up. And these two are mean mugging each other in the fucking sky. And they're just kind of staring at each other. And they finally start attacking each other midair. And me and my friends are just like, what do we fucking do? Tom goes, I'm gonna shoot it, and starts shooting at the fucking thing. Travis, my friend Travis, is going around trying to find a way to jump on it. The Palumu swirls in. He jumps on his. I jump on the wrong fucking monster. Palumu fucks off with Travis.
Takes him away.
Just takes him away. Legiana's is coming after the motherfucker. Finally, the Zitziyaku, which is basically just a raptor that has like flashbang ears that he flutters up, and every time like you look in directly into it, it stuns everyone. Turns around and starts going, hey, yo, stop that shit. And then flashbangs the Legiana and half our team. And so Travis is fucking being kidnapped. Tom is shooting at everything he possibly can. Andrew's flying in the air getting stunned consistently by the Zitziyaku. And I'm just sitting there with dual blades kind of like hopping left and right going, when are they going to come down here? Can someone throw a fucking flash pod for the love of Christ? And it's like I haven't had a multiplayer experience like that in so long that I can turn around and be like, this crazy shit happened, and Monster Hunter World like affords that opportunity to me, and it's insane.
Well, it's super crazy. I saw an article. Normally I'd read one of these and go, this guy's a fucking idiot, whatever.
Yeah.
It's the article about the person who feels bad about killing monsters in Monster Hunter. Did you see this one? It was
was it the Vice article? Or?
I don't think it was Vice. It was one of those kind of websites. But the article is like, listen, the game's awesome. I'm going to keep playing it. But it feels pretty shitty when you go in here and you attack a monster and then you watch it limp away and you're just constantly thinking, it's like, this thing didn't do anything to me. I'm going to kill this thing and turn him into shoes. And this guy did nothing. And normally I'd look at that and go, it's like, oh, this guy's just a fucking idiot trying to get clicks. But the more I thought about it, it's like, no, these things behave like animals.
Yeah.
Like, it's really incredible that you're fighting a monster, another one will come up that's just a natural predator of that monster, and you're almost like tag teaming that first monster with this new one.
Yeah.
And just, it feels super fucking, like, world is a good word. That's a good subtitle for this game, because that's what it fucking feels like.
Yeah. And
it's pretty crazy.
It's amazing that they were able to make you feel like just so invested in this. Like, it's weird because the story does none of that.
No, the
gameplay itself is just so engrossing that you're just like, even like hunting after the monster, where like, you know, one of the biggest things I wanted to harp on was the inclusion of just no loading screens in that area.
Yeah.
And you really feel it like good when you're hunting a monster and you can cut them off at the pass, and you know, like if you get the map down, there's one fucking thing called an Odogaron.
Mm-hmm.
We call him Odie for short.
That's cute.
He's very cute. Was fucking off, and his whole thing is he can go through certain areas in the Rotten Vale, like in tunnels, and fuck off in like in the opposite direction. So we saw him doing that, and we were just like, "Yo, leg it!" and just ran because we knew exactly where he was going to be. Stealthed up behind him, and because you get more parts for capturing, just kind of when he was sleeping, just threw a fucking shock trap down and said, "Now go back to sleep, idiot!" and kept throwing tranq bombs at him. And it was a good feeling because it's like. It's on everything that happens in that game is on the fly. All of the monsters that you fight all have really unique like attack animations. Even the reskins, which unfortunately there are an abundant amount of reskins.
I don't think that's anything new.
It's
for
not
Monster
new.
Hunter,
It's
but
not new, but
it's still a shame. I get it, but like, I don't know. Maybe with those DLC hunts, they'll like replace some of the reskins with the newer monsters. So it's like you just kind of hot swap them out. But
I'm hoping Devil Joe is really like super fucking difficult to fight.
Yeah.
Odogaron is actually a really fun fight, only because like it's really funny to see greatsword wielders try to fight the fastest wall jumpingest piece of shit in the game and just get really upset every time. But excuse me. You know, I could sing to the high heavens about how much I absolutely love Monster Hunter, and I think that even with all the gameplay caveats you have to deal with, my hype video is not enough. Like, if I can sit down and talk about, like, you know, why these things are all, like, in succession, you know, the constant feeling of progression, that need that you don't need to see a fucking number tick up. You just feel more powerful.
Yeah.
You start to get that feeling of, I'm making a better weapon. it's got better damage and all that. Yeah, but now I know how to fight this fucking thing. Now I know where its weak points are. And you can go into your hunter's book and you can see the physiology, you can see which rewards drop from where, you can see its weak points, and you're just sitting there and you're doing homework, and it's a game where you feel invested in the world part.
You are a hunter.
Exactly.
It's not, here's your big waypoint and your marker on the minimap. It's like, no, find the fucking footprints, find the scratches on the wall, track the fucking thing down, and then kill it just based off of you have to learn. It's like, I wouldn't say it's like trial and error, but it's very much, it's like you will probably lose the first time, or at least get very close to losing. Like, you'll scrape by, but because of that, later on, if you go back and fight it again, you now know all of its patterns, and it's not because a tutorial message came up and it's like, when it charges, you dodge left. You just learn it.
It's very natural, and at certain points, if you turn it off, like the game will actually kind of turn off features that you could use as like crutches. Like if you're during the mounting phase, you would see normally, oh, brace, brace, brace. And sometimes it just won't even show you. It'll just be like, all right, fucker, you're on it. Figure it out. Like you're hunter rank 11. You've been here for 40 hours. Like you're hunter rank 50 is the fucking top.
It goes to 50.
It goes to 50.
I'm on 3. What the fuck, dude? I'm never gonna. I need to be caught up.
I'm on 13, and I already have like a fuck ton of great armor. But before we get off of the Monster Hunter topic, because I'm going to talk about it for days, I do want to remark on. Rather, I want to at least open people's eyes to the mentality that people have been on the side kind of talking about. I don't remember the gentleman's name. This is an author who originally worked with Giant Bomb, and then he went off to go write for Vice. And when I read this excerpt to you, and this is going to take a little while, guys, so everybody in the chat just, it's a couple, like two or three paragraphs of some hardcore politicizing of Monster Hunter World. Are you fucking ready for this? I haven't read the whole article.
So is this your God-fearing American line extended into a Vice article?
Yeah. Okay. So let me just fucking start it off. Scene. Monster Hunter World is a game where the most well-realized elements, the creatures and the places, are meant to be mastered. You master them so you can cut them into pieces. You cut them into pieces so that you can make new gear. You can make new gear so that you can master them better. Even when you choose to trap monsters, a slightly more difficult task than simply killing them, you're rewarded with their pieces when you get home. You are not a hero. You're a hunter who kills for sport. In our current moment, the phrase "big game hunters" brings to mind the Trump sons posing with their kills, holding dead lepers and detached elephant trunks as sublimated stand-ins for wealth, privilege, and supposed masculine strength. But this association is older than Trump, for as long as the modern West is colonized, the act with which it marked itself as the West, it has reduced the lands and margin to hunting grounds. Distant regions are places where bounty can be gained, both literal and metaphorical. Through the full set of low-rank quests, Monster Hunter World embodies exactly this colonialist fantasy, the pillaging of natural resources, the violence against native people, and the rhetorical establishment of the colonizer as civilized and rational. Is that not the hardest fucking pull?
Monster Hunter World, more like Monster Hunter Manifest Destiny. More like...
Oh, man. The Trail of Tears mission was really something fierce, I'll tell you.
Dude, I just got done doing that one. It took 8.5 minutes. Your buddies are waiting in the fucking lobby. That was a Trail of Tears.
I was crying during it.
No, that was 100% not the article I was referring to earlier. That was... Whew.
Oh, that is the hardest pull I've ever seen in my entire days, and I'm happy.
Here's another take on Monster Hunter World.
Sure.
Maybe it's a fun game about killing dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Maybe the dinosaurs aren't real.
Exactly.
Maybe Monster Hunter's been around since like 2000, fucking mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh Christ.
Maybe the kid of that writer is playing it on his 3DS right now. He's playing Monster Hunter Stories.
Maybe he's just playing the world right now, and his dad is just watching him, and just tears are slowly crawling across.
And the kid's like, I can't believe I have to. This is like watching Bambi. This is like when Bambi's mom dies. I'm watching Dad.
Do you really have to carve open that Paolumu? It's like, yes, Dad.
Like, yeah, my cat needs a new shirt.
Dad, I can't begin to tell you that I'm playing a girl character, and this fucking monster gives her the fucking cutest winter set you've ever seen. Fuck off, Dad.
She gets a snow parka, and her and the cat match, and they got little fur. Fuck
made her
you.
blonde. She's Monster Hunter Russian, whatever that means. It's my canon.
My
Dad.
kid's a commie. Get him out.
No, he's about it.
Oh,
That's
my
why
kid's a
he's
commie.
conflicted.
Yes. Oh no, my.
Oh man. About to become a game journalist. There's
Share
no
the
talent
loot.
required. I feel so terrible because when everyone says that there's no talent required to become a game journalist, I don't agree with that sentiment at all.
Okay, so here's my take on that, because this was a huge discussion when that Cuphead incident
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Game journalists, first and foremost, their number one talent should be writing. You should be able to write about things really good.
Yes.
Your second talent should be playing video games.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're at least understanding, like, being able to grasp the concept of a fucking, like, game entirely and like, dissect it for what it is.
And I know Super Bunny Hop has talked about this at length, and it's like there are times where it's like there may be like a fighting game specialist guy, but that guy might be covering Call of Duty right now, and the only you've just got the new hire left to cover Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's gonna be shit at it because he doesn't play that stuff. So like even having specialized people doesn't work because you have to get the article. So like being a game journo is hard, but
it's just not hard in the reasons that I think.
Yeah.
You know.
I also think it's very, very easy to not fall into the big game journalism controversies that are constantly happening. I feel like it's very just write about video games. They're toys for children. It's like your job is to write about Boggle. You don't need to like.
You know, because I think what happens is that okay, so the mentality of writer first, gamer second is something that I feel like for me on my end of the spectrum, I want to flip that because gamers like inherently they can articulate past a certain curse word or two if they really try to put their heads to it, and for the most part, like if you are like a gamer, like that's what you, regardless of what definition you attach to it, if you're someone who like constantly follows video game media, news, and all that nonsense, you're following on games that you like, for instance, the Far Cry 5 thing that I slept on, and apparently I can't sleep on it anymore because that season pass is fucking radical.
Can't wait for that Vice article.
Oh yeah, that Vice article. Well, I mean, where's that Vice article going to go? It's about killing white ethno-nationalists.
It's like finally. Finally, Far Cry 5, a refreshing.
Written by that guy.
Written by
that guy entirely. But, you know, yeah, it is what it is. Hey, man, tell me about how Dragon Ball FighterZ saved fighting games this weekend. And then subsequently shut down PSN for also all the weekend. Okay,
so Dragon Ball FighterZ is a game that came out.
You don't like it?
No. No. I enjoy it. I agree when people say it's the best Dragon Ball game ever made, if we were only talking about gameplay. I'm going to start with negatives first. Much like Monster Hunter, the story mode is probably the worst story mode I've ever played in a fighting game, and that's saying a lot because BlazBlue is a book, and Guilty Gear is a movie.
Yeah.
And I don't like Mortal Kombat.
Oh, wow.
Dragon Ball FighterZ is 10 hours of fighting the same Goku, Gohan, and Trunks recolors. And once you finish the first arc that's like Goku, you do the villain arc, and then you do the android arc, and they get progressively longer. And the way it works is you start on a map, and you have to get your way to the boss of the map. You beat the boss, you beat the map. There are 13 maps around, 13 to 15 maps per story mode. And sometimes you'll finish a map and it'll just like flip and you have to do it again. The actual dialogue and cutscenes and stuff, it's cute. Watch a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Play the story mode to get Android 21 or buy the season pass to get her. She's a fun character. She's on my team. I don't think it was worth it, and I could have waited to buy the season pass.
You want to go down a fun rabbit hole? Do yourself a favor and just put DBZ Fighters, and then right after it, Cell Roast, and just have fun for the next hour and a half.
Cell saves that
Cell
game
saves
story
that
mode.
fucking
He's there to Plankton is there to have a good time, and he does.
Fucking the absolute murder of Gohan's entire fucking character, like calling out as hard as humanly possible. The whole the line of "I'm not even worth fighting right now," and Cell just straight up, "Yeah, no kidding," and just ending.
Yeah. No, it's funny. If you type in Dragon Ball FighterZ Roast, you can get every single cutscene in the game, because during pre-release, that's what everyone was naming their fucking videos. But during beta, I had a lot of problems with the game because I thought things were inconsistent, and it turns out they're not inconsistent. It's just that what I thought was a very simple game with inconsistencies is actually a very accessible game that is incredibly deep. And when you actually play the fighting game part of Dragon Ball FighterZ, in the same way that when you're not playing Monster Hunter, all you can think about is playing Monster Hunter, I have Dragon Ball in that PS4, and the moment I shut the door after you leave, I'm booting it up, and I'm probably going to play it until the sun comes up.
Well, I mean, fuck that. Let's go get dinner first.
We should get food, and I'm gonna bring the PS4. No, the game it's really good. It's like Monster Hunter. It has sold exceptionally well. It is past 2 million units moved. It is the best-selling fighting game and most played fighting game on Steam. It shut down the PS4. I don't think that's the real reason, but it definitely.
I think the fucking back-to-back. It's 5 million within 3 days.
Yeah, because Monster Hunter didn't.
7 between mainly. First of all, we can already assume that the one thing that really brought to light just how crazy this game is getting for everybody. 43,000 people were playing that game this weekend on Steam, as opposed to Tekken's 18,000.
As opposed to Marvel's
was at 36.
Marvel was in the tens. Oh my god, dude. Which, I mean, that's a whole other thing. Well, I don't know. Comparing Steam numbers and Twitch viewer numbers, I think is stupid. But it's like Marvel having 23 on its own is pathetic. Dragon Ball FighterZ having 44,000 is awesome for that game. Putting the two next together, it's okay, so this brand new game that just came out this weekend that everyone's been excited for, that uses a popular IP, is doing better than the game that's been out for almost, or I guess...
November.
It was summer.
Really?
September, or early September.
Okay.
So it's been out for a couple of months. It's the less popular version. It's comparing them, it's not apples and oranges, but it's still what does that really say? It says that Marvel is pathetic and Dragon Ball FighterZ is really good.
But
honestly, it's not a comparison. It's not.
I disagree, simply because of the fact that I feel like a lot of people have already kind of. I think the problem is that where it got them was 3v3.
Yeah.
I think at that point you had a lot of the anime fighters who don't want to admit they're anime fighter Marvel fans. Turn around and say, well, fuck. Now that Marvel is something that apparently is fun, but is still got a lot of things that people game design wise are not really big fan of.
It has issues that will now never be finished because 12 people play it on the Steam version.
And how Dragon Ball FighterZ is apparently the perfect combination between being button mashy enough to where I can turn around and be like, hey, I'm having a good time, and being complex enough to where I was watching a grand finals match that my friend Travis sent to me, and the matches are fucking phenomenally fast, but in 3 minutes a character did not die.
Yeah.
These matches are 7 to 8 minutes long of just pure back-to-back fucking fisticuffs, and it's insane. And everyone... The best tweet I ever saw on it was someone showing Yamcha is the state of DBZ FZ commentary right now, and it's how can you comment on something so fast? I don't understand.
Yeah, and it's really crazy because it went from a game it's oh, this is gonna just be a simple mash A to win game, to I have never seen this much new tech coming out every 3 hours in my entire just fighting game career. it's insane. Where it's not just like, oh, look at this new combo I found for a character. It's like I just found a new system thing where if you do a Dragon Rush, which is this game's throw, and you just mash the buttons, you'll just get 100 more damage. And just little things like that. It's like if you're in Sparking Blast and you do the Vanishing attack, if you hold down the buttons, you don't do the kick after the teleport, and it doesn't spend meter, and you can act out of it immediately.
I didn't even know there was a fucking X Factor in
I
this
was
game.
doing that by accident.
I didn't even know there was a fucking X Factor. And then
Yeah.
when someone said Sparking Blast, I'm like, that's a fucking X Factor.
Yeah,
Holy
it's
shit.
it's just X Factor. And then it's crazy. And like, okay, this kind of shows the progression of like how I feel about the online community. First night, I beat a guy, and I got a message on PSN. And we talked for like 10 minutes. Because the dude was like, oh, dude, fuck you, man. You kicked my ass. And I'm like, yeah, but you did pretty good. He's like, yeah, I know. I'm still learning. And we just talked. He's like, I told him what he was doing wrong. He's like, okay, thanks for the advice. Hit's kind of hard to fight. I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to fight him. I don't even know how to play him. And like, I was like, okay, this is like really good. Maybe people are like, the people it's bringing in are like more receptive and aren't just like mindless jerks. Now that we're a couple of days in and I'm a higher rank, I haven't gotten a rematch in a very long time, where I will either win the first match and they will just leave, or I will lose the first match, they will rematch me, I will win, and they will leave. Guys, just do the fucking rematch.
Yeah, do the run back.
Here's the thing
What
about
do you gotta lose? Points?
here's
Get
the
back.
thing about ranked. If you're right at the bridge between, let's say, silver and gold, and you can't get out of silver, if you keep quitting to lose the points, that doesn't make you a better player. You're in silver because you're a silver player.
Yeah,
If you were a gold player, you would be in gold, and you would be beating silver players.
that's called draft dodging in League.
Yeah.
You get penalized hard for doing that. If someone locks a character in League and someone turns around and is like, I'm gonna fucking dodge, that person is not gonna play for the next 5 minutes. If he dodges 3 times successively, he's gonna get banned for like either the day or the next 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I feel like there needs to be systems in place for not anywhere near as like crazy as
Like
that. but,
rage
like,
quitting, yes. If you turn down a rematch, I get it. You gotta go make
Yeah.
dinner. You got something to do.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's kind of a dick thing if you didn't have a good reason, but that makes sense to me. Rage quitting, I haven't had too much of at where I'm at, but
Really,
I've
'cause
definitely
I've
seen,
seen-
and it's
I-
always funny. My favorite.
Some of the best rage quits of all time are from this fucking game.
My
dude.
favorite is like, this game is so gorgeous that any screenshot can be a wallpaper, and it's Vegeta's level 3 like this. In between his hands it says player has disconnected from the match, and you see the dude's icons and it's his fucking wallpaper. And it's so good. But yeah,
man.
if you have never played a fighting game before and you would like to try a fighting game because you like Dragon Ball or you're interested in fighting games, I recommend getting Fighters, because it's very easy to pick up and just play. And if you ask questions, everyone who's in the fighting game community, this is like, all right, guys, this is our fucking chance to to be a real esport, to get fighting games out there. So there are constantly people helping. There's new tech coming out all the time. We're hopefully going to start doing stuff, events around Orlando. So if you're in the Orlando area, which I don't think any of you are, come on out. Speaking of that stuff, I do have a couple of things to mention about Orlando Fight Nights. But yeah, no, Dragon Ball FighterZ is very good. My only gripes right now are the story mode. The challenges are fucking weak as hell, where only the last 2 will actually teach you anything, and the other ones teach you how to do the auto combo, which is not a challenge. And I don't like the loot box system. This game's got loot boxes. It's all in-game currency, and you will get one every, if you play a match and you get the rematch, if you do a 2 out of 3, you've gotten a loot box whether you win or lose. Doesn't matter. So that part's not the bad part. It's that everything is lumped into the same loot box. Whereas with Guilty Gear and BlazBlue, you could pick the character icon one, or the character panel one, or the quote one.
Yeah.
This game, they're all in the same one, and that includes character colors.
So it's like a fucking Overwatch loot box.
Yeah. It's exactly like an Overwatch loot box.
Wow.
Where I just want to buy the colors. Just let me buy the colors, because my team is a fucking rainbow right now, and I hate it. But I keep getting, I have every Shoutsu lobby avatar. I have all of them. I hate him. and I will never use them. I have so many fucking titles and quotes that don't matter. I have finally found a video that has like all of the character colors just on YouTube. I found it, and the dude's like, yeah, I basically have been grinding since the game has come out with no breaks. And that, it keeps you playing, sure, but I'm going to keep playing anyway. So let me get the fucking colors.
I'm just really happy that Capcom had, like, gotten the fucking memo. It really feels like over the past, like, year, like, even with Street Fighter V, like, a lot of people really harping down on that. I looked at Arcade Edition. Arcade Edition looks fun.
Yeah.
Manat looks fun. All these characters look
Sakura
fun.
Sakura was free for the first couple of days. I played her. She was a good time. The new V-Triggers, you know, a lot of them are not useful, and they're not better than the first V-Trigger. But the fact that they're doing stuff and they're trying, and that the biggest thing for me is they showed the characters in the season pass, and it's characters people want. That just shows me it's like, yep, they're at least trying to get some face back.
Something happened.
I would have rather they tried with Marvel, but say la vie.
Marvel's a weird, outstanding case. I feel like I just don't think anyone knew what they were doing with Marvel. I think that they were. No. I think they put themselves into a corner with Marvel because they were just like, well, you don't want to have the fucking. Well, technically, it was it was more than like a 10-year gap.
Yeah.
No, Ultimate
was 2012. I think it was around 2012, 2013.
So not a 10-year gap for that one.
Yeah.
Like almost close to a 10-year gap.
Yeah.
But I know they didn't want to fucking reach the same. Hey, MVC2 came out fucking when I was a baby. Like,
yeah.
You know. But it for me it kind of feels like, even looking at like their fiscal year report and shit like that, it kind of feels like they're starting to fucking come around on some shit, and they're being receptive to. Like, first of all, being receptive to community, like, outspeak. And then looking at the analytics, and instead of sitting there and going, let's force it, like an EA would, let's just give them more of the thing that they want.
Yeah, which is... It's like, on one hand, it's like, you shouldn't fully coddle your fan base, because then you're just doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
But, like, you should try to at least bring back some stuff that makes people happy. And like
they just recently put Okami on their platinum list, which to me like says like they still give a shit about Okami. Like that they still give a shit about their old properties on some level.
Okami came out on PS4, right?
I think it did.
Is it in 4K?
I think it is.
I might have to get Okami.
I'm gonna have to get Okami at some point.
I might get Okami instead of Shadow of the Colossus because I like Okami a whole lot.
I still have not played Okami. I gotta play Okami.
Good. It is Zelda. It's just Zelda with a dog.
Cool,
but it's really good.
Cool, I'm down with that.
But yeah, no. Capcom, I think they're also realizing how important appealing like worldwide is.
Yeah.
Because like Resident Evil 7 was definitely tuned more towards a Western audience than like past games were, and Monster Hunter World, I feel like it's like in Japan, like handhelds are pretty like they're much bigger than they are here. And it's like now this game clearly appeals to a lot. I have people, nearly every single person who I have over here from Full Sail has told me, it's like, dude, have you heard about that like Monster Hunter game? And I was like, how have you heard about that? And I was like, yeah, I'm picking it up soon. Like everyone I know is getting on the Monster Hunter train, and they don't play video games. They play Rocket League. And like that's crazy to me.
They were saying they were shooting for a 10 million goal. I think they're going to hit it.
I hope
I hope they fucking hit it, because if that's the case, like for me, that means that they have way more fucking time and money to play around with the G rank expansion that you know is coming out.
Yeah.
Like that expansion is going to be.
So is G rank after 50?
G rank is after 50.
Does it stand for God rank?
I think it stands for God rank.
I hope it does.
I really hope it does. But like the G rank armors, like, well, first of all, like armor design and God, there's so much we can fucking listen, man.
Okay, we talked about Monster Hunter. It's still
but
great.
Let's talk
awesome.
about another company that maybe had a bit of a misstep. I need you to get this off your chest.
I do. Okay, I've said this on stream multiple times. By the way, Phil, master of segues. I've said this multiple times on stream, but I also have nearly every time I go into like the public Discord, like people still asking me about it and asking me on stream. So let's talk about BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle.
Oh man.
And let's talk about how
So okay, they've laid it down.
Okay.
They laid it down.
So
they said
here's the problem. When it started out, they released a trailer, and it's like, there's like nothing new in this trailer. So they showed off all the characters they showed so far, and we're like, oh, this must just be like the release date trailer, and then we'll get a character reveal. At the end of the trailer, we got a release date.
Yeah.
And then Blake comes on the screen, and Blake looks sick. All the Ruby characters look fucking sick. I'm on the Ruby hype train now, unfortunately.
Oh, did you go
watched
down
all
that
of it.
hole? Oh, wow.
The problem is, like, as the fight scenes get worse, because Monty's no longer working on it, obviously,
Yeah.
the story starts getting better, and the performances start getting better. So there is a definite curve where it's like, yeah, the fight scenes suck now, but I actually care about these characters now.
There's a
So, like-
character that I real quick aside. There's a character in that, I think, Crow. I like him a lot because apparently his superpower is he's fucking unlucky. Like, he's just terrible.
He is, yeah. Everyone has something called a semblance, and that is like your magic thingy. Like, Ruby is fucking fast. So when she turns into like a tornado and flower petals, it's not like a teleport. She's moving so fast, it's faster than light.
Oh, wow.
So and like some people use magic. Blake can like double herself up. Yang gets angry, I think. I still don't get hers.
Yeah.
Crow's is that he's unlucky.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So everything else he does is based on his own merit alone. And that's what makes it fucking awesome.
And apparently Ruby's mom is also fucking rad as shit. Like,
we don't know much about her though.
yeah, well, that's her whole thing is that she
Yeah.
just shows up and has that cryptic ass.
That is Yang's mom. They have
That's
different
Yang's
moms.
mom. Oh,
Yeah.
they do.
She looks a lot like Ruby though, and they wear
She
the same
does.
colors, so I understand the confusion.
Yeah.
But anyway, Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. They show Blake. Blake looks awesome, and at the very end, they show her character art, and it says in the bottom right, something in Japanese, DLC in English. And then it shows the cast of characters, and they're all standing in the void like they tend to do, and the camera pulls out, and there are 10 silhouettes on either side, and it says something in Japanese, the number 20, DLC in English. So, the news is 20 characters at launch, 10 Blaze Blue characters, 4 Under Night characters, 4 Persona characters, 2 Ruby characters, and then another 20 characters that are all DLC. So essentially, half of the roster, quote unquote, is DLC. And that's all they said. And obviously, this is not okay.
Shot my hype right in the
I
fucking
woke
foot.
up and I looked at it and I saw the trailer and I got super excited, and then my heart sank. And all day, all I could think about was like, you were supposed to save us. Arc System works.
Yeah.
It's like when Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was not looking so great, you showed off Dragon Ball Fighters, which is a 3v3 fighter. And then you saw Marvel Infinite was 2v2, and you said, all right, we'll also do a crossover game. That is 2v2. That is all of our anime fighters put together in a big Mugen-styled fucking game. And half of the roster is DLC. And for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, there is no news. All we know is that the game, based off of the yen price that they gave, is not full price for a usual game. It was like 5,700 yen when a normal priced game in Japan is like, I think, 8,800.
Yeah.
So all we know is the game does not cost as much.
Games in Japan are expensive as fuck.
They are very expensive.
Nier was, I mean, even like
Importing
native
games
territories.
is not fun.
I paid 70 for Nier.
Gundam Versus is probably, I've never felt buyer's remorse quite like that. And I like Gundam Versus. It's a good game, but it was not an $80 game at all, especially when half the fucking mechs are DLC and they cost $5 each. Besides the point, they finally come out and they release like a whole thing. It's like, listen, here's the breakdown. The game is not full price. It costs less than a normal game would. If you bought all the DLC, the price would not be much more than the standard price of a regular game. They said that they said a couple of other things, like it's being tailored for American audiences. Again, they mentioned some online stuff. The big thing is that the game is not full price, and that the DLC is not going to add to the price enough where it would be like you're paying $100 for this game.
Hey, you know how to tailor a fucking game for a Western audience? Put the fucking content in the game. Charge me $70. Call it what it is.
Yeah.
Call it what it is. You want 10 fucking extra dollars. You're gonna sit there and look me in the face. You're gonna look me, not you. I'm just saying. You're gonna sit there, look me in the fucking eyes, and tell me, oh well, you know, the development cost when fucking dev costs for a lot of people have been at a historic fucking low.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing. This is why I don't think that it's necessarily a dev cost thing. Because if it was a dev cost thing, why wouldn't you charge it at 60 and then release 10 characters as DLC?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that the game is at a reduced price. And based off the comparisons, reduced price games here are normally $30 to $40. We know this because Sonic Forces just came out at a $40 price tag. Shadow of the Colossus, $40. I think the game's going to be $40 at release. 20 extra characters, they're sold in packs. I think Blake and Yang are definitely going to be sold on their own. That's kind of shitty that half of Ruby is DLC.
Yeah.
Not going to defend that. But what I'm saying is that you get the game for $30 to $40, and then you play around with the roster. The characters there are diverse enough where you get a feel for every single play style. Now the rest of the characters are a la carte. If you want everybody, you can buy everybody and end up spending more than $60 on the game. Or, if you're buying the game for Ruby, you get the Ruby characters and you ended up paying $50 for the game, which is still less than a full-priced game. I've been saying fighting games should be doing this for like a while, not on stream, just to myself in my head. Pay $20, get enough characters where it's like, you know, you get a feel for the game, and then everyone else is, if you want to try somebody new, you try somebody new, and you get a character for $5. Because a lot of people will say, it's like, I'm not paying $60 for a fucking fighting game. Like, everyday people, because they're not going to put hundreds of hours into it like I am. Yeah. And it makes sense. It makes more sense to charge it lower at first, like Killer Instinct does, say, where you can just buy a season for $20, than it does to charge $60 when you're really only going to play like 2 characters in that whole roster anyway.
So here's where I disagree with that, just because of the fact that okay, so the hard sell is already, hey, we got this crazy anime game, but Ruby's in it, right?
Yes.
Like, the hard sell is half of the characters that you want are going to be in it. Sure, you can buy it, but they're going to look at it and go, why? It's $40. Why didn't they just give me the fucking full game at $60?
Yeah.
And the hard sell is going to be for the layman, not for the fighting game fan, not for the aficionado who's going to look at it and go, well, this sucks, but I'm going to get it because if we're going to run tourneys, we're going to run those parking lot tourneys because that's where they just put themselves. Yeah. They put themselves at melty blood level tourneys with that fucking decision. If we're going to do that, we're going to need to buy the full fucking amount because I want to. And then you've got the fighting game, like, anyone who's going to be hyped for it be like, there's going to be 40 fucking characters, 20 characters I'm not going to be able to know how to fight.
Yeah.
Within this system.
And, that's what they fucking mentioned that I forgot. There is a version of the game with everything that you can buy.
Which is $70, I think.
There is no official pricing for America. No. They listed a price. It was for the collector's edition, which had like an art book and like that sort of stuff.
If what would really be funny, and what would pretty much be like, this is essentially the closest thing to reopening the investigation on Hillary and then closing it right the day before the election, is if they turn around and say they're offering that version at $30 and then the full version at $60. And if they do that, that would be such a fucking terrible PR decision at this point.
Wait, you're saying include the version with all the characters is $30?
No. All the way around.
Okay.
So that like they would have that version, and then they would still. It would be $60 already.
Oh, okay.
So
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So they sell half the game for $30, or you can get the full game for $60.
Yeah,
or you can buy 2 of the 30 ones and have the same 20 characters.
Exactly. So it's like, why would you fucking, if that's what they do? No. It's like, why? That's why I'm thinking it's gonna be like $70 to $80.
No, it'll release at $40. It'll be $30 for all the DLC. You will get it for $70 total.
Yeah,
that is my prediction. Which
that's a solid prediction.
40, I mean. And I get what other people are saying. It's like, why do I got to pay $30 for DLC anyway? Most of them are copy and paste. Most of them are just sprites from other games. But the Ruby characters are all done entirely from scratch.
Yeah.
All of the Under Night characters had to be redone because Under Night sprites are really fucking pretty, and it doesn't work in BlazBlue. The game system is so radically different that people are saying it's more complicated than Under Night.
Oh yeah, by the way, Under Night's coming out too.
Under Night is out. It is out right now. Please
it's
buy.
not.
Oh
no! Remember we
oh,
figured that out.
Oh, it's not out. Never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know where you could buy it right now. I don't know where that could happen. Don't. Why is it out so early over there? Whatever. If you can find a copy, buy Under Night, please, because it's the best anime fighter. It's my favorite anime fighting game of all time. Anyway, all I'm saying is like
most fun watching a tournament at CEO Taku was fucking Under Night.
Dude.
Well, Guilty Gear.
Guilty Gear was pretty
Guilty
good.
Gear was great.
My
because
dad
of,
watched Guilty
What is
Gear.
that fucking guy's name?
Who is this? It was Slayer, the Slayer player?
The Jam player. The one who literally everyone turned around and said, you need to do a movement tutorial.
The first CEO Taku.
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
went
yeah.
to, yeah. The one I didn't have to work during.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we are talking currently about how to handle cross tag battle for tournaments, for a CEO side and our side, yeah. Again, there's a version that's coming out that will have everything. Just tell us what the prices are.
Oh yeah,
Just stop being coy.
Full stop. For those who are going to be listening to podcasts on YouTube and may
right,
not,
new people.
Yeah. Max works alongside with what is his group, Orlando Fight Nights, and they are kind of in deep with Jabali's crew right now.
Who do the community effort Orlando tournaments, as well as all
CEO,
the other CEO subsidiaries.
And then you guys run CEO Splash, or whatever it's
Citrus
called.
Clash, we work the secondary streams. I don't know if those are coming back, because I can't say anything else.
Yeah, so there's definitely some, full disclosure, as far as those events go, we'll obviously talk about, hey, we love CEO and CEO Otaku.
Yeah. And it is 100%
now,
a paid endorsement.
Yeah, it is technically on Mike's and a paid endorsement. I'm just a fat guy who showed up and tried to commentate a fighting game, and that was fun. It was a shit
ton
show.
Of fun. The players loved it.
Yeah,
they were having a good time.
Were they?
Yeah, yeah. They had fun. We all had fun in that little fucking back corner room.
That Persona fucking discussion. Everyone just be like, "Hey, you play Persona 5 yet? Hey, stop it! That's spoiler. Don't look at that. That's a spoiler." Idiot! What are you doing? Put on Persona. Let's play Persona on this stream right now. Fuck it.
But yeah, no. That's my piece on BlazBlue. Is just wait. Just wait. I don't think it's enough where you should say like, oh, fuck this game, fuck everything it stands for. Just wait and see. The game still looks fun. Decide then.
Yeah.
And it does. And from what Aphex has told me, because he's played it.
Aphex
is not an anime player at all. He went to, not RTX, it was, I think, PAX.
What was the tournament he went to just recently for Killing?
The Microsoft. It was at some big Microsoft store. They had a fucking stage and everything. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
He got third, though. Play a real character. Start playing Cinder. What are you doing?
Just be better at video games, idiot.
Yeah.
Shout out to Aphex.
Shout out to Aphex. I whooped his ass in Dragon Ball. I'm going to do it again later.
Remember when he thought he had a Yoshimitsu?
Remember when he thought he had a Lucky Chloe?
Oh,
that was a week. That was a solid week. He thought he had a Lucky Chloe.
God bless. Shout outs.
Yeah.
Shout outs to the Derp crew.
Yeah, fuck everybody. I'm playing Ruby and
oh yeah,
Ness,
that's the thing. Hey, originally, I think next time we come on, we're gonna try to get Tom Fox on here. He was supposed to come on. We had a lot of scheduling errors on our end, so I just kind of told him, "Hey, buddy, we'll get back."
If the Monster Hunter video was supposed to come out last Friday, this podcast was supposed to happen last Thursday.
Yeah.
No, last Wednesday.
No, it was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So,
and then because it's 9:35.
Yeah.
We'll have a whole lot of time. While we're doing that, you and I separately, but binge watch.
Oh shit!
Anime of the fucking year.
Anime of the. It was like day 0, and that
day
shit drops.
0, and Netflix hits you with the hottest anime it could, with what I think with a run cycle that is vastly superior to the Naruto Ninja run. And
you know what was crazy to me? I saw a GIF of the. We're talking about Devilman Crybaby, first of all.
Yeah, by the way.
I saw a GIF of the run. It was the track race. And I saw them running. I'm like, that's the dumbest shit ever. And when I was watching the show, I didn't think that at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't distracting, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because that run is nuts. But
it's a stupid run, and when you watch the Scooby-Doo sound effect go with it, it doesn't help it at all.
No, I didn't see it with the Scooby-Doo sound effect.
It doesn't help it at all. But in the context of the story, when all three of those people, by the way, we're not going to try to do spoilers. It's a 10-episode fucking show. If you immediately out the gate, if you're into just anime that goes to a place that you're not used to.
Yeah. This took me so far out of my comfort zone. I've said this a couple of times. If I hadn't watched it in one sitting, I never would have gone back to finish it. Just because it's not exactly for the faint of heart at all.
That ending.
And not even the ending. That first episode was probably they start you strong I wouldn't say it desensitizes you, but after a certain point you understand what's happening. It's like, all right, I'm not as surprised by stuff anymore. But no, Devilman Crybaby, obviously based on Devilman, which was a very old fucking Shonen Jump series.
Devilman is considered.
I don't think it was Jump. It was
no, it was.
It was some other. It was like a.
I think it was considered Shonen Jump. I think that's why it was so controversial.
Yeah,
because it was considered a Shonen Jump manga where that fucking thing happened.
All the fucking thing happens.
All the shit happens in that fucking and the thing is that everyone always talks like this is the most influential. You look at Berserk. This is one of the most influential animes of all time. You go Neon Genesis Evangelion. This is the most influential anime.
Yeah.
Die Buster or Gunbuster rather.
Yeah.
This is no. Go back to the 1970s where Devilman and Go Nagai showed up and just wiped the floor with shonen anime and told every human being you're shit and you should feel bad for it.
Feel bad.
You're a
read my comic, and everyone went, "No, okay,
so good,
it's so fucking good."
And the craziest part about it is I didn't know this. There has not been an animated adaptation that has hit the ending.
Never.
No,
the OVAs never made it, and everything else was like a weird. Like there's like Cyborg 009 versus Devilman, which is also on Netflix, but apparently it's fine. I don't know what Cyborg 009 is though, so I can't really.
Even the most famous iteration of Devilman, like recently, titty rip. Aim on it. You don't remember that? You haven't seen that?
I haven't seen that, but no, I've only seen the. Hey, should I take my shoes off? I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit.
Which we need to watch the fucking OVA.
We need to watch the
English
OVA.
dub of the OVA.
Oh man, that one didn't even have the ending, the real ending of the series.
No,
but Devilman Crybaby does, and I mean, okay. So before we suck its dick too fucking much, there's a certain point. There's a certain episode. I want to say it's episode 6 or 7. It takes place at a track rally.
Yeah.
After that episode hits, the series goes into overdrive like that. Like it just the pacing fucking flies off the handle because you're sitting there going, "Oh fuck! Now we have to talk about this entire situation." Like this. I'm trying so hard to dance around the.
I'm trying to think of how I can signal spoilers.
Signal spoilers 1, 2.
Hold on, everybody. If you haven't seen Devilman Crybaby, the screen's gonna go black. If you got us tabbed out, click back on. I'm gonna flash it black. I'm gonna put it back on the screen. When it flashes black again, you're safe. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The apocalypse.
You're supposed to wait until it came back.
Oh,
the apocalypse happens, and what the fucking third impact is based on happens.
Yeah, but that's all we're gonna say.
Yeah.
And that and how it happens, the lead up to it, those final words. Why am I the only one to? Oh, it's so good. Yeah. It's so good. Dude, tears.
Yeah. I will say I think at the end of episode 9, which should be enough. The end of episode 9, a very important character dies in probably one of the just really shitty and gruesome. A character that in any other show you're like, oh, they make it to the end, they're fine. No one's safe.
I forgot. I knew that character was gonna that was gonna happen. I forgot.
Yeah,
and I said, no, they're gonna change it. No, they're not.
No.
Oh
and
my
they
God.
really build it up like it's not going to happen, and then it fucking does.
My favorite part is introducing people to the series and watching a whole new generation of people have the same reaction and go, what? What? Oh God, it's such a good.
In that episode, I guess it's a very, very good series, and it's definitely up there with. It's hard to put it with Pop Team Epic. Pop Team Epic's really fucking good too.
I haven't watched a single episode.
We're gonna watch some because they're like short.
Yeah,
after
yeah.
this. But Devilman Crybaby does have some problems, and a lot of them is it's not budget, but like there are clearly cuts in like quality here and there where sometimes the characters just kind of bob along in certain things. But it becomes kind of really apparent towards the end or middle of episode 9 where Miki goes on a monologue as she's making an Instagram post, and they just keep reusing the same shots with text over it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
feels like super like cheap.
But
and,
when
like,
you
the
but when
ending,
you
it's
watch why that happens. Like I
I
forget I got to look up the director's name right now because apparently his whole style.
it's super
is based
abstract.
around
He
that.
does really weird abstract stuff. But my other problem is between episodes 9 and 10, I feel like there's an episode missing. Like I feel like 10 just kind of starts right away with explaining shit, like right out of the gate, and the first half of the last episode is spent like tying up loose ends in kind of just a telling you the answer, like
Yeah.
um
Masaki
But-
Yuasa.
yes,
Yeah, who
Yeah.
has like and the
That
thing is you
madman.
can that fucking crazy person. I got to watch some of his stuff now because of that because like there's some stuff that like I was watching reviews on YouTube, people like Giguk and all those kinds
Yeah.
of people. And they were showing some footage of like just
his other work.
the craziest
fucking
shit. And I was
crazy.
like, that looks amazing. I want to see this. Like, this is what anime is supposed to be. Anime is supposed to basically, like, I turn around and I'm having an amazing time watching just being transported to a world I just wasn't ready for. And,
Yeah.
and I think in a lot of ways, there's not many people talking about, like, how in a strange sense, like Devilman Crybaby doesn't harp on it. It doesn't preach about it. It's kind of preachy, but it's not in the sense of like standing.
The
from
monologue
a
is a little preachy.
The monologue's preachy as fuck.
Here, because we're in spoiler territory, kids run up and hug Devilman's leg.
Okay, so that part is preachy. But what I'm
But
saying
the rest
is,
of the series isn't. It's,
yeah, like but like and the thing is that you see the de-evolution, like the de-evolution of the whole situation. You see it devolving into just this shit show, and you're just like, me and my friends who were watching it, we're just like, this is what would happen. Like if this kind of crazy extraordinary scenario happened, this is the exact human response that would happen. We'd
Yeah.
be fucked.
yeah.
We'd be fucked. Like there's like it is a very realistic, like, and it's strange to say that about a fucking series called Devilman, but it's a very realistic interpretation of how our modern day society would deal with that scenario, and it's terrifying. It
Yeah.
is 100% one of the scariest fucking thoughts I've ever had, especially when like there's a point where they're just like, we don't even know what's happening in America.
Yeah.
Like America's been overrun, and they're like, we have no idea. We don't know what's happening. Like,
Yeah, and there is a definite turning point in the show where I stopped being like too like disturbed by all the gore and stuff, and it just turned into like every single episode became so fucking tense that it was uncomfortable to like watch.
yeah.
Where it's like you still don't know what's gonna happen, but you know whatever it is gonna be the worst thing that's ever happened before ever.
Yeah.
And they just keep topping it and topping it and topping it, and then
So if you haven't watched it yet, do yourself a favor, go watch that.
it wasn't even really spoilers. So
No, yeah.
so if you didn't pause it, that's fine. You can come back now.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, we're back.
wasn't it crazy when Devilman got his stands? The world? And he got in the mech? And he
So you say that, right? You say that, and then you forget the final battle.
he does not get into
No.
a mech
No,
with his
but
the world stands.
but when,
But yeah, we'll
fuck it. When
talk
he
later.
loses an arm and someone goes, "Use me," like, might as well be stands.
Might as
He has like it's other demons.
yeah. If there's anything to take away from this, it's that he has the body of a devil and the heart of a man.
Crybaby.
Don't forget, and he's a crybaby.
And you will cry tears at the end.
He's-
If you have any sense of empathy, you will definitely cry at the end
Yeah.
of the series.
Yeah.
Very good.
So watch Devilman Crybaby.
Please.
And then after you're super depressed from that, watch Pop Team Epic, which is basically anime Robot Chicken, but really good, actually.
I have to watch it before I want to talk about that. I actually want to talk about another Netflix series that actually came out today. I'm not sure if you've heard anything about it. Altered Carbon.
That sounds like a thing.
It is just from the look of it. First of all, it's a cyberpunk fucking Netflix series.
Okay.
Wherein the idea is, in the very far and distant future, people can upload their consciousness onto these things called stacks, and they can use it to upload themselves onto different quote-unquote sleeves, which are basically just bodies. So the rich and megalomaniacal people are becoming, they're turning essentially into greater beings, and they're starting to accumulate so much wealth that it's impossible to keep up with. So this one guy who 250 years ago was trying to stop it had his shit on a disc, it was like flash frozen, and gets revived back to solve the murder of a man who is on another disc. Like, he's on another body, but he's like, I've lost the last 48 hours of my life. You're gonna go and find out what happened to me.
And he's
And
is it a detective show? What is this?
It's like, it looks like Deus Ex meets Blade Runner with way more action, and I'm so fucking pumped.
I'm gonna have to fucking watch that.
We'll watch a trailer after this. Like, it looks fucking sick. Like, I've been just the fact that cyberpunk is coming back.
Yeah.
The fact that that's like my favorite punk genre.
The fact that we had to trample across Ghost in the Shell's lifeless body first, though, wasn't super cool. But I also heard Blade Runner 2049 was one of the greatest sequels ever made. So, like,
I don't know.
I haven't seen that one yet.
I haven't even seen Blade Runner.
I fell asleep during it recently.
Oh, shit.
It's not super good. Well, it's not engaging. It's eye porn. It's eye candy, for sure. It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
But, like, I can't take Harrison Ford seriously. He doesn't give a shit. I don't get it. I thought he gave a shit in any of his roles, except, like, the first Indiana Jones.
My favorite Clickle article was when they sat there and they made a bunch of scenes from all the movies he's done. It's like, here's a compilation of Harrison Ford saying his name every single time he's on screen. And it's easily one of the best fucking videos I've ever watched.
What was it called? Altered Carbon.
Altered Carbon.
Altered Carbon.
Looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's good. If we come back, whenever we come back with episode 3, and hey, it's shit. Yeah. Hey, but go watch Devilman Crybaby though.
Yeah. Last rule of threes. One last Netflix show I think everybody should check out is a documentary series which I don't normally watch. It's called The Toys That Made Us.
Oh,
and it's very good. It's just these nice little 1-hour things. It's like, here's the history of Star Wars toys, and it goes through like the legal battles they went through and like how just time crunch. It's so interesting, and it's like so like menial, and they do I think Power Rangers, G.I. Joe, the Barbie one is apparently really fucking good. I've only seen the Star Wars one so far, which was really good. But if you just want something to turn on in the background as like background noise, I highly recommend The Toys That Made Us. It was very well put together and well made.
Oh yeah. I have to check it out because I love like documentaries that just talk about like all this crazy shit. I think one of my favorite ones, I'm trying to remember what it was.
He-Man.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what you were.
It was on Netflix where it was going over the decades of just pop culture, like what happened in this decade, and it was so interesting to see. Like, me and my mom sat through the 50s to the 80s, and I looked at it, I was like, man, Reagan fucked up.
That bitch.
He did good
bitch.
for like a little bit.
I'm not inviting him to the Monster Hunter squad. He's not allowed in.
By the way, I was trying to say, as a side point, for the cyberpunk thing, I love cyberpunk. Someone referred to Monster Hunter as cave punk, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
Is that what you call it? Where it's
where
it's technologically advanced, but they're like a step above cavemen.
Yeah, exactly. It's not steampunk, it's cave punk.
Cave punk is pretty good.
That's pretty fucking good.
I think this is
dude.
a cave punk podcast now. I think that's what the theme of the next one's going to be.
The Cave Punk podcast. We're also stalker let's play, or not let's players. We're also stalker larpers. That's a whole. You don't Stalker is,
I know
right?
what Stalker is. Yeah,
That's a whole fucking rabbit hole we got to go down one day just to be like,
for sure.
how fucking these idiots will actually walk around Chernobyl trying to do shit.
Damn, that's not even
That's
role playing
hardcore.
anymore. You're just living the dream.
Yeah, dude. But hey, that's just a theory. Oh, that's not our show. Anyways, it's 9:52, and this was a pretty. We had maybe 4 topics, and we were able to. It's crazy. You and I were looking at it like we
Yeah.
didn't have much to talk about. We had a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's like you got here and it's like, yeah, I was looking stuff up. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
So I'll talk about Monster Hunter. You talk about Dragon Ball. I was like, all right, great.
Let's just do
2
that.
hours later, we've discovered cave punk, and now all of you have too.
Oh, fantastic. But hey, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching the video.
I will say, because the first video is done, I think. From now on, should do it at the very end. Well, what's coming up, what to expect. I'll say this right now. I said it at the beginning of the podcast, I think, or during the video while we're watching it. The Monster Hunter World video that we showed at the very beginning of the podcast will be up on the YouTube channel tomorrow. That is youtube.com/a series of letters and numbers.
Because we don't have enough subscribers to get our name just yet, but we're hoping to get it soon.
So we'll tweet it out. So if you follow one of us on Twitter, that works out.
Yeah.
And along with the Monster Hunter World video will be the first podcast we did, along with this one. Moving forward, podcasts will be uploaded to the YouTube channel one day after the Twitch stream.
Yeah.
No plans for an audio version yet, but it is definitely something we're gonna do.
We're thinking about it. We're thinking about a lot of things we want to do with just we're hopping into it, kind of just feeling out everything. I think what we're gonna do, as we were talking about in the last podcast, we're just throwing a bunch of shit at a wall and hopefully something sticks.
Yeah.
The next thing we're gonna be working on, for me personally, my writing is gonna be on an actual episode of Hot Take, which is gonna talk about. So a lot of people, we've been hyping up the Lineage 2 thing. But I found a way.
Twitter's starting to show me Lineage 2 ads because they know I finished the Monster Hunter video. And they know what's coming up next, so they're just teeing me up. And it was the one we always watch.
Yeah. No, and that's funny because it's funny you said that because that's exactly what's happening to me right now. I've been literally walking, like just looking at Monster Hunter videos, and don't ask why I had YouTube Red for 3 months. But I had it, and finally ads came back, and of course the first ad that pops up is fully fledged MMO, and then Conan O'Brien popping out of a fucking TV.
He jumps through your TV, and he's there.
So we're gonna be talking. So I figured out Lineage 2 is gonna be more of, spoiler alert. The video is gonna be talking about influencers. Content creators being disingenuous and the negative effects of that, and what my hot take on how that affects people and just the general landscape of video games and everything as a medium.
Yeah.
So that'll be like a fun think piece, and then after that we're gonna have a non-fun think piece. Sword Art Online's coming out this month.
I'm going to. It's funny that we're talking about game journalism and how writing should come first. But then you said, well, people who play games are generally, they have a lot to say. I feel like I have a lot to say, but the moment I have to write something down, it fucking turns to shit. But I'm gonna try the next hype
check. We're gonna call it hype check.
Hype check. It's not hype train. It's hype check. I gotta change some folders around.
Yeah.
But my first written hype check will be about Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet.
Do you want to use the fucking?
It's gonna be hype check with a question mark. It's more gonna be mentally prepping you for the experience, everyone out there, and more so why even if you don't like Sword Art Online, you should still check out Fatal Bullet. And the short answer, which I can give right now, is it's made by the Freedom Wars team, and Freedom Wars is a pretty fucking good game for the Vita.
And everyone who said that they've played it is like, it's just Freedom Wars.
Yeah.
So,
so
do you want to use the thing that you told me, like in the video, like what happened to you during your pre-order experience, or do you want to say that what happened to really hype up?
I don't think they're gonna let me do it. But I can say it now.
Yeah,
because I don't think it's gonna happen. But
what happened to Max when he got blown the fuck out in front of a bunch of hot
in front
girls.
Of a whole girls were watching as the people behind the counter just fucking
He-
threw eggs at my face.
He came over to pick up Monster Hunter and DBZ.
No, I was pre-ordering everything. So I
Okay.
got there and I'm like, okay, I need to pre-order a couple of games. First off, Dragon Ball Fighters, and they're like, doesn't that come out in like 3 days? And I'm like, yeah. Can you still help me? And they're like, I don't know. And then they made it work, and I'm like, all right, you're gonna be really angry at me. I also need Monster Hunter. And they're like, okay, and they did it. And the third one, I'm like, okay, one more. I'm gonna need Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. And the girl behind the counter looked at me, and she's like, I'm not calling you when that game comes in. And I said, you know what? That's perfectly understandable. And I said, listen, if there's any way that you can just, if you guys remember, just slip that game into an envelope and maybe like confidential, like slide it across the counter when I show up. We don't have to make eye contact or anything. I'll take the folder and leave. I wanted to start the video with that encounter. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if I can make it happen, I'll try. Because that's funny as shit.
That's so good.
But yeah, so Fatal Bullet, Lineage 2, and then we're also just going to be trying out other stuff as things come.
Coming soon. React on Purpose.
Oh, React on Purpose. That what it's fucking called. Oh man, this is the worst name for a YouTube channel. This joke's going to stop being funny in a couple of months, and then we're going to be the fuck... I stopped myself. But we're gonna be in another situation where we're thinking about our name. All right. You can follow Phil at Phil's Herb Mang on Twitter. You can follow me at MAXX. That is MA, the word double, and then X.
We need to fucking figure our Twitter handles to make them way easier.
Well, mine's just my name.
Hipster Phil, Hipster Max, maybe?
I'm not putting hipster in my Twitter handle.
Yes, you are.
I'm going to be independent from the fucking...
You little bitch.
I would love to be at Max. I want to be Max on Twitch because the Twitch account MAXX has been not active for 8 years.
Yeah.
So that's the goal, is to be popular enough to get the Max Twitch name.
Yeah.
That's goal number 1. But other than that, follow this Twitch channel because Phil's awesome. You can follow my Twitch channel too. It's also MAXX. We're gonna start doing Resident Evil 6 again on here.
Oh man.
We
We just finished up the first level of the Chris playthrough. So if y'all are happening on that, I know a lot of people were enjoying the playthrough just because of how fucking batshit crazy game that game is.
Yeah. So. Other than that, I think that's about it.
All right, everybody, go take a nap.
Go take a nap.
Reconvene whenever we show back up.
Yep.
Time to get some dinner. Oh man.
Alrighty.
You gotta walk your hand.
I can't even turn off the stream without walking.
Oh
no!
Oh Jesus.
Oh god. It's a good thing the webcam's not on, otherwise my dick would be out all over the stream.
Wow, I didn't know it was even that small. How did that happen?
That's uncalled